डूबदे देखने काली।
What's up and welcome to the video, my fellow Call of Duty Elite Gaming Stud Muffin athletes. And to those of you who just happen to find this channel who are not subscribed, welcome as well. So since there are a lot of people who will be watching this video that aren't actually subscribed to this channel, I thought I'd let you know and preface this video by saying that I am definitely an OG, old school, long time standing, card carrying Call of Duty member. I have been around since the beginning, over 15, 16 years in the Call of Duty community. I've been playing that game, this genre, since 2005. I mean, some of you watching this video weren't even born yet. So with that being said, let me get into this first impressions and sort of a review of the Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer. So like I said, because I've been playing this game so long, a lot of my opinions on the matter and what I think about this game now could be a little bit jaded, just to be totally transparent, because I think I have to openly admit I have franchise fatigue. But also at the same time, I feel as if the Call of Duty community, or rather the Call of Duty developers, the community, the game, everything to do about it has become stagnant and does not have much creativity anymore. And that also is leading to a compounding factor of why I think I have franchise fatigue. If they actually brought something new, exciting, something innovative, instead of just a bunch of peripherals and extenuating things like which I'll get into, which aren't actually the core meat and potatoes of the game, to try to make it seem like there's something new out here and it's all just static noise bullshit, doesn't actually contribute to a better online multiplayer experience. If they actually did things at the core of the game and did things to innovate that, I think I wouldn't have so much franchise fatigue. So let me get into what I'm trying to say here and explain a little bit more detail of what I actually think about this game. Right out the gate, I'm going to say that I don't think it's very good. I'm not going to say it's horrible, because it's not horrible. It's not that bad. And I will also go out and also say this, like, on the fun factor. I know this is going to be a bold take and you're going to think I'm crazy, but you know, listen, I honestly think Vanguard on release, on launch, was more fun, because I find using shotguns and overpowered weapons and close quarter combat more my speed. I'm not a tactical player in any way whatsoever. I have a short attention span. I don't have much patience anymore when it comes to Call of Duty. I want what I want now, and I don't like to have to play tactical. And this game, which is supposed to be a twitch shooter, at least I thought that's what Call of Duty was. It's a twitch shooter, fast paced, high energy. For someone like me now, maybe I'm just getting older, reflexes are getting slower. I find these games to be very campy, and I find that I get penalized for actually rushing and trying to play aggressive. Maybe I just can't keep up with all these kids strung out on Adderall and G Fuel, but I just feel as if I am penalized for moving around, and I don't like to play slow. I don't want to camp. I've never been that way. My favorite guns are SMGs and shotguns, and I like to run and gun and just get in the face and just try to have nonstop as much action and gunfights as I possibly can in a match. I don't want to go 10-0 or 10-2. I'd rather go 30-20. And that is one of the problems with this game, which I'll first get into. It seems to cater to camping and noobs, which makes no sense when we have skill-based matchmaking. You shouldn't have to cater or change the game around to cater to noobs when there is already skill-based matchmaking where all the noobs play on the even playing field, so you don't have to protect them from people who are good who will be rushing because skill-based matchmaking. So I don't understand why they've done things such as remove dead silence, which allows you to run around the map without being heard so people can't sound whore you. Everybody wears a headset and has a headset now, so they can hear you coming, which is just makes running around stupid because you're putting yourself at a disadvantage. Taking red dots off the minimap, once again leading to a slower gameplay. You can't really run and race chase down the red dots because you don't know where it's shooting from, and if they did see where the red dots were without dead silence, you can't really run up to them because they will hear you coming a mile away, which I have done many times in this gameplay. As I was sitting at the back of the map trying to get adjusted to feel for it, I could hear people running up on me, and I was like just turned around, aimed down sight, and waited for them like I was waiting for the bus, and then just come around the corner and I smoke them. And then on top of that, to make the gameplay even slower, they make UAVs, which is the only way you can see people, where you feel sort of comfortable rushing because you kind of have an idea where the map and where people are. Because how are you going to have and understand map flow and try to steal people in with spawn traps or trying to get a reaction to where they are on the map and know where the gunfights are going on if you don't even know where the gunfights are because there's no red dots on the map? So you're kind of lost out there. It just seems like a cluster of just people everywhere, and there's no actual flow, and it really is hard to get a flow when you can't really get adjusted where the gun battles and whatnot are going because no red dots. And the most important thing, though, to find out where people were with no red dots is a UAV. But instead of making it a 3-kill streak like Call of Duty's in the past, they now make it a 4-kill streak, which even lowers the chances of knowing where people are, so even less fun for a person like me who can't really get a rush going. And I'm not going to touch on the skill-based matchmaking anymore because I've made many videos on that. Everyone knows about skill-based matchmaking, and that's just beating a dead horse at this point. I don't like it. I don't think it needs to be said. Rick Rubin, or whatever his name, Rubin from Infinity Ward, who was one of the best developers and one of the major godfathers of Call of Duty, even says having skill-based matchmaking, and he had a huge video on it. I think it was New Cinema who did a video talking about it just the other day. So if you want to know everything about skill-based matchmaking and why it's actually bad by a developer who made Call of Duty from the get-go way back in the day, go watch that. Long story short, it ruins the experience because it's always the same experience because you're always playing against the same player pool, so you don't really have a variation of good or bad players, and you don't really know what you're going to get each game, which is one of the exciting things about what Call of Duty used to be. Some games you'd be like, okay, there's a bunch of noobs in this lobby, I can kill everybody, have a great game, and then one game later, whatnot, you get a bunch of tryhards, and it's a little bit more difficult. There's variation. Skill-based matchmaking takes away the variation because you're always going up against the same people in the bell curve. It's all mathematical. I'm talking really fast. I'm trying to get through this point because I'm sure you heard it ad nauseum. Go watch New Cinema video that he did about Rick Rubin. Not Rick Rubin's a producer. Rubin somebody, whatever. You'll see what I'm talking about. Go watch that video. I got to rant something to get off my chest a little bit here as well, which is just absolutely ridiculous with a game that's had 3,000 people and 3 years to make. There are no barracks. There are no KDs. You can't see any of your combat record. You can't see anything. You cannot see the combat record of anybody in the lobbies until after the game. You get to see one other player besides yours for whatever reason. But the idea that we've had 3,000 people with 3 years not able to provide Call of Duty Barracks where you can see your own KD and combat record on launch, but they say it will be available on future patches, is fucking nuts. Like, that is crazy. Like, gaming in 2022, it's all incomplete. We could put 10,000 people working on it, but they'd rather be working on trying to make sure they have the right gender calling cards, because you better believe, friends, they've got like 50, or I think actually, all jokes aside, no exaggeration, over 20 different types of bi and trans and gay calling cards. I mean, look at this, dude. What in the heck is going on? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, though. I don't even know what these are. They're obviously pride flags. There's another one. There's that. Look how many pride flags there are. What is, dude? This is, that's all there is. That's all the calling cards you have. That's it. That's your calling cards. Bro, this is some really weird stuff, man. Now, I got to talk about the maps, I got to talk about kill streaks, guns, all that kind of stuff, but I think something more important to get to now is how Call of Duty has changed, and how I said I had franchise fatigue because no innovation, and the stuff they do innovate on is actually useless and doesn't actually affect the core gameplay and actually makes the fun aspect of playing the game, just playing the game, any more fun. And that is things like Gunsmith, and all the perks, and all the weapons, and everything that is going on with that. And don't even forget, I want to say it now, the perk system in this game is absolutely ridiculous. Let me get to that before I get into all the other stuff that doesn't actually have any impact on the fun of the game. The perk system is garbage. I think you don't have the 3 perk system, you know, the pick 10 system. It has, like, you know, the assault where you have like already set limits of perks, and as the game goes on you earn more, and you are stuck into a certain bracket of what each perk system is. And the perk system makes the game feel like there's no really actual point even using perks because they are earned throughout the game, and they don't actually seem to have any impact, which leads into the gun attachments, gunsmiths, and all the weapon attachments. Back in the day, Call of Duty had like extended mags as an attachment. They had silencers as an attachment, which are useless now. What's the point of having a silencer when there's no red dots on the minimap and the noise is so loud everywhere you can't really distinguish where the enemy fire and the friendly fire is? The only thing you can hear are footsteps of people walking around the map that sound like obese elephants at that fact. And like I said, in old Call of Duties, you would have like dead silence, or silencer rather, or even dead silence. The perk system back then, you wanted to unlock dead silence because then before you could run around and be a rusher. Now it's like there's no perks to really unlock. They have the weird perk system that it's lame. Like, they're just fixing things for the sake of fixing or changing things so they can say the game is different, but it's not. It's worse. And that's the whole point. Call of Duty back in the day was designed about fun. Let's make the game the most fun we can. Gaming and everything to do with social media and algorithms and just video games in general and anything to do online and movies, Netflix, whatever, entertainment, it all is built around keeping people online the longest. These challenges and all these gunsmiths and all these attachments aren't designed with fun in hand at first. They are designed to say, what can we do that makes people have to sit here and unlock stuff and take more time to play the game, because the longer they stay online, the more likely they are to buy microtransactions. So what can we do to drag it out as much as we can by still trying to keep it fun? Before, it seemed like, what can we do to make it the fun the most important? And they didn't worry about the metrics as much after the fact. Now, some people say the graphics look good, but to me they look not that great. And I'm playing on a PC at the max, most ultra settings with a 3080, 32 gigabytes of RAM, 8-core processor. I've got the best you're going to get. But there's something janky about it to me. It almost looks like mobile graphics, just the way people move, and they just look cheap. They just looks cheap. And that's what the game kind of is to me. The gaming nowadays when it comes to Call of Duty is like flash and trash. The game itself looks try to be flashy, all this kind of new spells and whistles and little shiny things like gunsmith and whatnot and different player modes, and they try to add little things to it, but it's flash and trash. But at the core, it's rotten. That's why I feel Call of Duty is the overall real core experience. Gunplay, kill streaks, perks, that system seems to be just not very good. It just seems to be bad. And the actual little extra blingy stuff on there, they try to attract you, to try to take you and distract you from the fact that, yeah, the core experience that we're making is not good anymore. So it's like a flash and trash, but deep down inside, repeat myself, it's rotten. Now, I'm not saying it's the worst game ever. I'm not saying it's a horrible experience. I'm not saying it's just really, really bad. But like I said at the beginning, franchise fatigue mixed with no innovation, stupid things that they implement, dead silence, red dots, the gunsmith system, which is just overly complicated and unnecessary, the perk system, which doesn't make any sense, just the loud footsteps, the engineering of the game to be slower, it seems, and just not as much fun. You couple that, like I said, with franchise fatigue, and I really don't think the game or Call of Duty is really for me. Like at this time, I might play a bit more later today. I'm going to check it out, put some more time into it, give it another chance a little bit. But it's just like it run its course. If I go back and play Fortnite no build, I really enjoy that. That's something fresh and new to me that I haven't played that much of. And I wouldn't even say it's even better than this. It's just something different. And Call of Duty needs to really change their way they're going. There needs to be something coming up. But Call of Duty to me is prime for the picking. And like I've been here for a long time and playing 15, 20 years. And some of you who are new coming in will obviously not have franchise fatigue and actually enjoy this game because you don't have a frame of reference to the old days and how it used to actually be when I would think it was actually good. And I don't want to sound like some old guy like back when I was a kid it was the best. But I think it is pretty objectively much better back in the day. It was much better back in the day than it is now. Well, anyways, that's my first impressions and review. I'll play some more. Maybe I'll give another video down the road about how I feel after a while and giving it more time. But that's my take. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you didn't, well, then I guess you have horrible taste, just like you do in Call of Duty, if you think Modern Warfare is good. And I'm out of here. Take care. Subscribe. Smash that like button. The last but not least and most important, stay black. Question of Thorn, one time, cracker, Tim, Shane, Shirty, Billy, Fred, Ben, Caleb, John, John, something like that. Fake, white man, bring you down.